We have a very interesting stretch right now coming down to the final weekend of the college football season. We already had the last weekend of the regular season, but right now we got conference championship weekend on the docket. A lot of big-time games coming up. You got Alabama, Georgia, you got Oregon, Washington, you got Florida State, Louisville, Michigan, Iowa. Like we could go down the list here. There's a lot of big-time games, but the interesting thing here could be those one-loss conference champs or potential one-loss conference champs. What happens with them? What is the path to some of these one-loss potential conference champs should they end up winning the conference, obviously, with them being a conference champ, being in the title? Curious to talk about it with y'all. Get at me on Twitter, get at me on Instagram, at JD Pickell, with your most intriguing college football playoff scenarios, because I think there's a fair amount of them still out there right now. But I want to talk about three teams specifically between Oregon, Alabama, and Texas should they end up winning their conference. Their path in, what maybe they need to be worried about, some things to keep an eye on. Again, make sure you're subscribed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JD Pickell to stay up with all that we got going on right here on this channel. We appreciate y'all for that, man. It is a run by y'all, so we appreciate y'all interacting and allowing us to talk about what you want to talk about. So let's start with Oregon, man. I think Oregon has to feel the best about their path in as a one-loss conference champ. Like, to me, it really feels like if Oregon wins, they're in. Like, the committee has told us every single week, hey, Oregon, yeah, the resume is good, but we love the eye test with Oregon. Every single week, the committee tells us that. They scream that at us with them being the best one-loss team in the country in terms of their ranking. So I don't think that the committee is somehow going to pull a fast one on Oregon. Now, if you somehow found yourself in a situation where you had a resume comp between Bama and Oregon, and Alabama's a one-loss conference champ, maybe you feel a little bit nervous about that. But again, I think Oregon at this point in time, given the scenarios on the table, has to feel the best about their path in as a one-loss conference champion. Now, let's talk about Alabama, because this is where it gets a little bit interesting. Alabama's probably rooting for a little bit of chaos, one of which thing they'd be rooting for is a loss for Texas, because that would kind of dissolve the head-to-head thing for them. You'd also be rooting for a loss for Florida State, so you get a multiple loss ACC champ. So that would kind of open up the range for Alabama. My thing for Bama, man, if they end up being a one-loss conference champ, that would mean they have the best win in the country over a number one ranked Georgia team. And we can say as much as we want about how much recency bias does or doesn't matter. I have to believe that if that's the last thing the committee sees from Alabama, if there's a path in there, I think that Alabama would be able to get that spot. Now, again, you probably need a loss from Texas, so that head-to-head doesn't block you. But I think Alabama maybe doesn't control their own destiny, but you got to feel pretty okay about your chances if you can beat Georgia. At that point, it at least makes it a conversation. The thing for Texas is they have the best win in America right now. I know you probably talk about Michigan beating Ohio State yesterday, but like at the end of the day, man, Texas went to Tuscaloosa in front of everybody, college game day. I mean, we were there, and they beat Alabama by double digits in week 2 of the college football season. And they, I think, put a little bit more on the resume eye test-wise these last 2 weekends. The thing with Texas is they probably need an Oregon loss if they want to find their way in there. And the thing that they have going for them, obviously, is they have the win over Alabama as their head-to-head. So the bottom line is there's a path for all three of these teams. It feels like to me Oregon has the most direct path, and then Texas having that head-to-head over Bama clearly is crucial. We talked about it earlier, I guess last week during our live show. The eye test could end up being a factor in the Bama-Texas conversation. I think Texas has kind of put the eye test reservations you would have to bed. But it's going to be fun, man, to see it all the way down to the wire. I think all three of these teams have a very legitimate chance to make some noise should they make the college football playoff. But the beauty of it is these games are going to play themselves out. The conference title game for Texas, you would worry about the juice it has because you don't have a number 1 ranked Georgia or a number 3 ranked, more than likely, Washington to play in your final game before the committee makes that selection. But again, there's a path for all of them. And I cannot wait to watch what happens here. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be poetic in every sense, as college football always is. Make sure you subscribe. We'll have reaction, As soon as we get the rankings from this week, we'll have live shows throughout the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern. Wednesday is our big picture show. So give me your playoff scenarios. We'll unpack them live on the show. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JDPiquel. Hey, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling as always, and we will see y'all next time. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.